My beloved child. There is something you have sensed for a long time, yet every time your heart tried to understand it, your emotions spoke louder than your wisdom. That is why today is not an ordinary moment. Today, a hidden curtain begins to move. Someone around you has mastered the art of saying the right words at the right time, but words alone never reveal a person's true intention. There are moments when silence tells a greater story than promises. There are moments when actions whisper what lips refuse to admit. Listen carefully, because before this message ends, one truth will become impossible to ignore. The signs have been appearing again and again, yet you kept believing they were only coincidences. They were never coincidences. Every delayed answer, every sudden change in behavior, every unexpected excuse, every emotional conversation that somehow left you feeling confused instead of peaceful. None of these happened without reason. Something has been hidden behind a carefully created mask. Today, that mask begins to crack. Stay with these words until the end, because the final revelation may completely change the way you look at one specific person in your life. There is a reason your peace disappears whenever you think about this person for too long. Your heart has been trying to protect you while your emotions have been trying to hold on. That inner conflict has exhausted you. You kept asking yourself whether you were overthinking everything. You questioned your own instincts instead of questioning the situation itself. But what if your instincts were never wrong? What if your heart noticed something that your eyes refused to accept? Think about every conversation that made you feel responsible for fixing everything. Think about every moment when you apologized even though deep inside you knew you had done nothing wrong. Think about every time your happiness depended on whether this person approved of you. Those moments were not random. They formed a pattern. Patterns always reveal what isolated events try to hide. The truth is approaching faster than you realize. A single unexpected event is already moving toward your life. When it happens, every confusing memory will suddenly make perfect sense. You will not need anyone to explain it. Your own heart will finally recognize what it has been trying to tell you all along. Now pay close attention, because this next part is where everything begins to shift. Not every smile carries honesty. Not every kind sentence carries genuine care. Some people learn that emotions can become a doorway into another person's trust. Once that trust is gained, influence becomes easier. That is why certain conversations always seem to leave you emotionally tired instead of emotionally stronger. You may have noticed that whenever you begin feeling confident, something happens that brings doubt back into your mind. Whenever you start moving forward, another emotional situation suddenly appears and demands all of your attention. Have you ever wondered why this cycle repeats itself? Cycles continue only when their hidden purpose remains unseen. The moment you recognize the pattern, the cycle begins to lose its power. That moment is coming closer than you think. Something unexpected will happen very soon, and it will reveal a detail so small that most people would completely ignore it. Yet that tiny detail will expose a much bigger truth. Once you notice it, there will be no way to see this situation the same way again. Keep listening because the most surprising part has not arrived yet. There is one question that very few people dare to ask themselves. If someone truly wants the best for you, why do you constantly feel uncertain after talking with them? Peace and confusion cannot grow from the same root. Genuine care creates clarity. Hidden intentions create uncertainty. That difference is more important than you know. There were times when this person celebrated your dreams with words, yet somehow your progress slowed down instead of speeding up. There were moments when they encouraged you, yet their actions quietly moved in another direction. Those contradictions are not meaningless. They are clues. Every clue has been leading toward one revelation that has remained hidden until now. You are closer to discovering it than ever before. Do not rush ahead. The next piece of this message will connect everything you have experienced into one powerful picture. When those missing pieces finally come together, the answer you have been searching for will no longer feel distant. It will stand directly before you. Before this moment ends, remember one thing above everything else. Truth never needs to chase anyone. It arrives exactly when a person is finally ready to recognize it. Your season of confusion is reaching its final chapter. A moment is approaching that will separate appearances from reality in a way you never expected. You may believe you already know who this message is about, but wait. The next revelation may completely surprise you. The person you suspect today may not be the only one hiding behind emotional words. There is another layer that has remained invisible until now. That hidden layer changes everything. In the next part, the silent signs that almost everyone overlooks will be revealed one by one. Once those signs become clear, the actual intention behind every confusing moment will begin to uncover itself. And when that final connection is made, you will understand why everything had to unfold exactly this way. There is another truth that must be uncovered before everything becomes clear. The greatest surprises rarely arrive with loud announcements. They appear quietly, hiding inside ordinary moments that most people ignore. That is why the next revelation is so important. The person who has kept you emotionally occupied did not begin this pattern overnight. It grew slowly, one small moment at a time. At first, everything seemed natural. Every conversation felt meaningful. Every promise sounded comforting. Every explanation appeared reasonable. But over time, something changed. You started giving more of your attention while receiving less certainty in return. You invested more hope while receiving more unanswered questions. You waited longer while hearing the same reassuring words again and again. Yet somehow the peace you expected never arrived. Ask yourself one question. Why does your heart keep searching for clarity after every interaction? Real sincerity leaves the soul feeling lighter. Endless uncertainty leaves the soul searching for answers. That difference is not small. It is the very clue that has been standing in front of you all along. Stay until the end, because the next connection may reveal something you never imagined before. Something remarkable happens when hidden intentions can no longer remain hidden. Small details suddenly become impossible to ignore. You begin remembering conversations that once seemed ordinary. You notice expressions that did not match the words being spoken. You recognize moments when your excitement quietly disappeared after sharing your dreams. One memory leads to another. One unanswered question connects to the next. Suddenly, what once looked like separate events begins forming one complete picture. This is exactly where many people become surprised. They discover that the answers were always present, but emotions made those answers difficult to recognize. Your heart wanted harmony, so it overlooked contradictions. Your kindness searched for the best in people, so it explained away uncomfortable feelings. Yet truth never disappears simply because it is delayed. It waits patiently until the right moment arrives. That moment is moving closer with every passing day. Soon, one unexpected conversation, one unexpected action, or one unexpected silence will unlock everything. When it happens, you will immediately understand why this message reached you today. Now listen even more carefully, because this part changes the entire direction of the story. Every person reveals themselves through consistency. Anyone can appear caring for a moment. Anyone can speak beautifully for a day. But consistency tells the real story. Notice who celebrates your growth without hesitation. Notice who becomes distant whenever your confidence begins to rise. Notice who remembers your weaknesses more easily than your strengths. These are not random observations. They are quiet mirrors reflecting what words often hide. There is a reason you have felt an invisible weight inside your heart recently. Your spirit has been comparing what you hear with what you experience. That comparison has created questions you could never fully explain. Soon, those questions will begin answering themselves. A single moment will connect memories from the past with events happening in the present. When that connection appears, it will feel as though countless scattered pieces suddenly fit together. You will not need to search anymore. The picture will become impossible to ignore. Do not leave yet, because one final discovery remains hidden beneath everything you have heard so far. There is a difference between someone who values your presence and someone who values your attention. That difference changes everything. One brings peace into your life. The other keeps your emotions constantly occupied. For a long time, those two experiences may have seemed identical. But they never were. Look closely at how you feel after certain conversations end. Do you feel encouraged to move forward, or do you feel trapped inside another cycle of overthinking? The answer to that question carries far more meaning than you realize. This hidden difference has quietly influenced many decisions without you even noticing it. The amazing part is that this influence is beginning to weaken. Your ability to recognize patterns is becoming stronger. Every passing day is making the truth easier to see. Very soon, someone will unintentionally reveal more through one simple action than they have through countless conversations. That moment is approaching faster than anyone expects. One last piece remains before everything changes forever. The greatest revelation is never the discovery of another person's intention. The greatest revelation is discovering how powerful your own discernment has become. You are beginning to notice what once escaped your attention. You are beginning to trust the quiet wisdom within instead of depending only on appearances. This transformation has already started, even if you cannot fully see it yet. The next part will uncover the hidden signs that appear just before truth reveals itself completely. Those signs are so subtle that most people miss them entirely. But once you recognize them, every confusing experience from the past will suddenly point toward one unmistakable conclusion. The next revelation will bring the final pieces closer together than ever before, and what is waiting ahead will be far greater than anything you currently expect. A quiet shift is already taking place around you, even if you cannot see it with your eyes. The remarkable thing about truth is that it does not rush. It waits until every missing piece is in the right place. That is exactly where you are now. Think back to the moments that once seemed too small to matter. A delayed reply that felt unusual. A conversation that suddenly changed direction. A promise that sounded inspiring but never turned into meaningful action. At the time, each event appeared separate. Today, they are beginning to connect like pieces of a hidden puzzle. This is why your heart has felt restless lately. It has been collecting evidence long before your mind was ready to understand it. Now those silent clues are moving closer together. Very soon, one simple moment will make everything look completely different. You will remember this message because the answer will appear in a way you never expected. Stay until the end of this journey, because the next revelation will remove another layer that has remained hidden for far too long. There is something most people never realize until much later. Hidden intentions often reveal themselves through repetition rather than dramatic moments. The same emotional cycle keeps returning with different words and different situations. At first, it feels like coincidence. Later, it becomes a pattern. Finally, it becomes impossible to ignore. Notice how certain situations always leave you questioning yourself instead of understanding the other person more clearly. Notice how your confidence sometimes fades immediately after meaningful conversations. Those moments are not meaningless. They are signals asking you to pay closer attention. The more aware you become, the less power confusion has over your decisions. That is why this season feels different from every season before it. You are no longer accepting every appearance without quietly observing what follows afterward. Your awareness is growing stronger every single day. That growth is preparing you for a revelation that will arrive at exactly the right time. When it does, everything that once seemed uncertain will suddenly become crystal clear. Now another hidden layer begins to unfold. Imagine standing before a mirror that reflects not faces, but intentions. In that mirror, every action becomes more important than every promise. Every consistent choice speaks louder than every comforting sentence. If such a mirror stood before you today, what would it reveal? Would it show someone whose actions consistently bring peace into your life? Or would it reveal someone whose words create hope while their actions create uncertainty? This question may seem simple, but its answer carries extraordinary meaning. Many people spend years searching for complicated explanations while overlooking the simplest truth of all. Reality always leaves footprints. Those footprints can never remain hidden forever. Soon, one unexpected event will shine a light on those footprints so clearly that you will wonder how they remained unnoticed for so long. The moment is closer than you believe. Every passing day is guiding you toward it. Keep your attention here because the story has reached another important turning point. There are times when silence reveals more than conversation ever could. Watch what happens when you stop chasing explanations. Watch what happens when you quietly observe instead of immediately reacting. The atmosphere begins to change. People reveal themselves naturally when they are no longer trying to control how they are perceived. This is where remarkable discoveries often begin. Without asking difficult questions, without creating conflict, and without forcing answers, truth gently steps into the light on its own. That quiet revelation carries far greater power than any argument ever could. It is calm. It is clear. It is undeniable. Soon, something unexpected will happen that allows you to witness this process for yourself. It will seem ordinary at first, yet within that ordinary moment lies an extraordinary answer. Once you recognize it, your perspective will never return to what it once was. The next chapter holds a revelation that reaches even deeper. There is one final connection still waiting to be made, and it has everything to do with the hidden purpose behind the emotional confusion you have experienced. When that connection finally appears, you will understand why certain events unfolded exactly as they did. You will see why some doors remained closed while others quietly opened without warning. Most importantly, you will recognize that every unanswered question was leading you toward greater clarity instead of greater uncertainty. The next part will uncover the signs that appear just before hidden truth becomes impossible to hide. Those signs are already surrounding you. Once you recognize them, the entire picture will begin revealing itself in ways that will leave no room for doubt.